Hey, Brian and Natalie. Hey, listen, I had so much fun talking with you guys. I'm going to see if I can't do a quick rundown, Brian, of the steps that you would need to take in order to put that beam in. And so, along with this video, I sent over a material list of what you need to get going with that. But as you probably guess, you're going to want to start with those interior temporary walls. And so, like we talked, go ahead and take a 2x6, one of those 14 footers, and you're gonna screw it right to your ceiling. You're gonna put the other 14 footer right on your hardwood floor in the living room, and those two are gonna act as a top and bottom plate. The straighter you can keep that board on the ceiling, the better, because it is an angled ceiling, and so if that's off a little bit, your studs are gonna be different length. So the more consistent you can keep that, the better. Again, you don't wanna be able to, you don't have to beat those in with a sledgehammer, but again, you want them snug. So just take some of those construction screws, put a toenail or two in the bottom into that plate, and then 1 or 2 screws on the top. And like I said, as long as you do that every 32 inches, you'll be totally fine. Just repeat that same process in the kitchen area too. Again, if you're gonna take out that wall in the foyer, great, but it'd be a lot easier if that was out of the way first. You'll also see in my material list notes that I said that if you do take that wall out, you could always save and reuse those studs and just use them for that temporary wall. If you don't do that, you probably have to add a few more 2x4s to your material list in order to get that done, but just a suggestion there too. And like you said, you could keep that wall back 2 or 3 feet so you had some more working space. But once you get both those walls done, you can certainly head upstairs and do the work in the attic. Again, if you wanted to totally get as much of that insulation out of the way, just create just a clean space to be able to work. And plus, there is a lot of wires going on there. And so obviously, the more you can eliminate any risks with ruining any of that stuff, the better off you're going to be. You want to be able to take a channel at least. You know, you can even give yourself an extra 1/4 inch. So if you want to make a 3 3/4 channel, your beam's going to end up being 3.5 inches wide. So again, give yourself an extra 1/4 inch, and since you're using hangers, you have a little bit of play there, but you want to be able to cut that channel in the whole way down to be able to slip that beam in there. Again, this part of the process, it probably doesn't matter if you want to do this header first or if you want to do the one that's downstairs, kind of in the opening where your peninsula is going to be. The course of which beam goes in first really isn't relevant because you're going to have that temporary wall there either way. So whichever one of those you want to tackle. But again, once you get that channel in there, don't be afraid to maybe take your multi-master, level off the bottom of those ceiling rafters coming from the living room so you can saddle in basically a hanger. Once you get all that stuff cut back, though, again, like we said, put your hangers in first underneath your joists. Then at that point, you can bring your beam up there one at a time, get them both in that channel. Use some of your 3-inch construction screws. Every 16 inches, put about 3 screws and just marry that beam together. Then you can go back at this point and you can go and slip your hangers tight to your beam. You can use either the nails that you got for the hangers or some of the hanger screws to do this. But at that point, you can go ahead and fasten those hangers. If you did this beam first, now would be the time to go do the beam downstairs in the kitchen. That one, again, is pretty simple because you're supported by these temporary walls. And so whether you guys shift that whole wall down or leave it where it is, this is a time where you can cut that 2x10 header to what you need for a length for that wall to work, and then carry your 2 posts down. Those are going to go all the way down to help support that header. And again, that's at the same point where you want to go into the basement and get some blocks underneath wherever that one bearing point ended up on the north end of that opening. Let's see. Once your hangers are fastened upstairs in the attic and you have that other beam in where your peninsula is going to go, you're good to go at that point. You can start disassembling your temporary walls. Just one at a time, take those screws out, and you're going to have some extra lumber sitting around, but I'm sure you'll find a purpose for that someday. But that's the process. I know it sounds super simple to do. The biggest thing, take your time. It's not that bad. I know that you could totally handle it, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thanks again, guys. I'll talk to you soon.